You're welcome back to the show. A quick look again at the names that have come out so far for Regional Minister designates Volta Region Dr. Archibald Lecha, Upper West Region Alhassan Suleimana, Bonohafo Region Kweku Asuma Chireme, Ashanti Region Simon Osei Mensah, Western Region Dr. Kwekwe Friye, and Central Region Kwamina Duncan, Eastern Region Eric Kwache Dafor, Greater Accra Region Ishmael Ashite, Salifu Sawid for Northern Region, Upper East Region Roxanne Bukari. And that is those are names that President Kufour just put out there. Let's move on to some other stories. We'll get back to Elton as soon as we establish contact with him. Well, former President Kufour has asked for commitment in ending hunger and malnutrition in Ghana. His comment comes as the John Ajakum Kufour Foundation launched the Ghana Zero Hunger Strategic Review. The program, which is in partnership with the UN and the World Food Program, is meant to do a review of what Ghana is doing and the challenges in addressing hunger and malnutrition. It is also meant to help the UN Sustainable Development Goal 2, which focuses on ending hunger, malnutrition, and food insecurity. Giving his address, Mr. Kufour, who is also the chairman of the Jack Foundation, said he is committed to ensuring that policies outlined by government are implemented.
Hunger can be very costly to a country. In a recent study of hunger in Ghana, it has been estimated that in 2012 alone, hunger cost an estimated 6% of the country's GDP, amounting to 4.6 billion Ghana cedis. This cost resulted from the failure to address nutrition, which has debilitating outcomes in terms of foregone productivity, decreased educational outcomes, and increased health burden. This loss should not be allowed to continue. Thankfully, the United Nations has taken a serious note of the challenge and has impressed upon all of us to act to save humanity. In the new Global Development Goals, the Sustainable Development Goals, the framers have placed emphasis on ending hunger, promoting food security, having an improved nutrition situation, and promoting sustainable agriculture. These actions are contained in SDG 2. This goal has targets for us as a country to achieve largely by the year 2030, although there are some that must be achieved by 2025. The big question is, how prepared are we as a country to achieve these targets?
Former President Kufour there. Well, in an interview with Joy News, the CEO of Jack Foundation raised an alarm over the effect of malnutrition on children. He spoke to Beatrice Edu.
As you know, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 2, requires that in places, especially in Africa, we should reach zero hunger by the year 2030. So every nation is charged to find a way to meet that goal. And as you know, hunger and starvation debilitates people's development and progress. The former president was referring to what we call the gray matter infrastructure. Hunger, starvation leads to many visible things like stunting, wasting, and underweight, at times obesity and all that. But there is this hidden effect, which is the brain. When a child is conceived and the mother is not on good nutrition, it's going to affect the child's development. So the whole idea here is not just to fight hunger, but also to ensure that the food we eat is nutritious, to give us the necessary nutrients for us to develop in a proper way. So this particular project is to review Ghana's situation so far as food security, hunger, and nutrition are concerned. After the review, the report will help to assist donor partners, government itself, to formulate policies that will ensure that our food production is also linked to improved nutrition.
And if I heard you right, the report or the final document will be ready in the next 6 months?
Correct.
And looking at what you've done so far, you've talked about hunger, you've talked about nutrition. Let's first start with the nutrition and the hidden effect of it, the fact that it affects the brains of people and the ability to think well. What is the situation in Ghana?
Unfortunately, that particular aspect of the study has not been done, but it's known. Many scientific studies elsewhere, especially in the Western world, brings that out to demonstrate the difference between Africa's lack of development and developing these advanced countries. And it's clear. Why is it that we have all these problems, these challenges in our development? You know, critical thinking is the key to development. How we exercise our brains to make critical decisions. So if this is not to say that all Africans don't have brain, I'm not making that point. But if you know that a third of our children in Africa are undernourished, then you can understand why many African countries have these problems. So the point is that even though no specific studies have been made to establish that fact, it is a real fact. Because if you look at stunted children, children who are undernourished, you can easily associate their lack of progress with that kind of deficiency. So food and nutrition are critical elements of our development as human beings.
And of course, talking about hunger, in his address, the former President Kufour also stated that in 2012, Ghana, as a result of hunger, lost about 6% of the GDP. What is the situation as at now?
You know, that study was taken by the World Food Program and other interested parties. It was launched last year at the International Conference Center. I was there, and that study clearly shows that the cumulative impact of hunger leads to lack of productivity and many other things that were recounted in the presentation. And if you cost those losses, it will amount to that much in our GDP. And that is why it's so important for government and for all of us as Ghanaians to find a way to combat hunger. So this project, this strategic review, is to enable us to find the best approaches to combating hunger and making sure there is food security and that kids. In fact, if you take the school feeding program, for instance, for me, it's a very important channel for us to...
Let's end hunger.